Greetings, I'm Art Fireman. Welcome to Projector Reviews TV. The new flagship of Epson's commercial G series of projectors is this PowerLite Pro G6900WU. It is the most advanced in the series with several features not found on the other projectors in Epson's G series. Although not discussed here, a consumer version is also available for your fairly bright media room. That one's called a Pro Cinema 6900. First of all, the G6900 is one of the 4 Gs that support native WUXGA resolution, 1920 by 1200, which means it also handles 1080p natively. Of the remaining 3 Gs, 2 are XGA, 1 is WXGA, so they have you covered. All of the G series, which start at only $35.99 for the 5500 lumen XGA version, come with a great 3-year warranty, including 3 years of replacement support. With a claim of 6,000 lumens and a choice of 6 quick-release lenses, the G6900 is built for serious commercial applications in auditoriums, hotel ballrooms, digital signage, houses of worship, and venues such as sports bars, clubs, and concerts. Epson's MSRP is $64.99 with the standard zoom lens, although if you need one of the other lenses, you can buy a no-lens version, the NL, for $300 less, and then choose the lens you want, which run up to a little bit above $2,500 a piece. And that's still fairly affordable compared to some of the more expensive lenses out there on competing projectors. The G6900 offers advanced networking and more. You get powerful performance despite the G6900's relatively small physical size and weight. It's only 22 pounds. That is for a commercial projector. With those features in mind, the G6900 should be a short-list choice for many rental and staging companies. There's plenty of other capabilities and features as well, so let's consider a few. Frame interpolation, Faruja image processing, dynamic iris, 2 projectors can be stacked for passive 3D, or just to double the brightness. There's extensive inputs, including a standard HDMI, the DisplayPort, and component video. There's 360-degree operation, also edge blending. With 360 operation, there are some limitations. You can mount the projector horizontal, vertical, anywhere in between, but you can't skew it like that. You can present multiple PC images, up to 4 can be projected, 1 in each quadrant, or you can do split screen with any of the high-def sources. That adds up to a wow selection of features and benefits. So how good is the picture? Except for the brightest mode, dynamic, all the modes have at least very good looking, well-balanced color. Some modes are cooler than others, easy to adjust, but only dynamic has enough extra green to look less than ideal. The other modes all produce impressive colors, whether for formal presentations, reasonably accurate reproductions of photos, or even for viewing sports. I did already mention that the Epson sees these widescreen G projectors as especially suited for sports bars. Time to take a tour of the G6900 hardware. Okay, it's time for a hardware tour of the Epson PowerLite Pro G6900WU Projector. First thing you notice is the large lens in the front. This is a standard lens provided with the standard version. You can buy the projector without any lens and choose from any of the 6 as separate purchases. Okay, there's also the exhaust on the front left-hand side here. And as we shift over to the right-hand side, we have the infrared sensor for the remote control, or I should say the front one, and 4 indicator lamps. The usual power, we've got 1 for the lamp, 1 more for temperature in case it's overheating, and 1 other, which you probably will never see either, which is for changing the filter, which should last a decade or longer. Also of note is a single screw thread adjustable front foot. Now as we move to the top, you can make out 2 dials, 1 here and 1 here. The dial on the left is for your vertical lens shift, and there's a rather significant amount of it. The one on the right is for horizontal. Lock them in place with this little slide right here. Make sure they do not budge. Let's take a spin. And the first thing we see is on the side here is a door for changing that long life filter. Now as we move on to the back, we find not only all the usual inputs and connectors, but also the projector's control panel. So let's start with the control panel. It has the usual power, 1's for on, 2 for off, source search or input, whatever you want to call that. We've got the menu button for the navigation and 4 arrow keys. Got those in a diamond configuration. Escape, which takes you back up a level in the menus, and the enter button. Far to the right, we have a AV mute. Now each of these 4 arrow keys does something else when you're not in the menus. The top and bottom ones work with keystone correction and the more advanced warping type features. The left one is lets you lock out the control panel, and the one on the right brings up info. Now it's time to take a look at all the inputs and connectors, starting with a service port, top left there. Right below that, you'll notice some markings for Crestron, Ferrugia, and HDbaseT, three of the standards that they adhere to. Next to the service port, however, is the HD-SDI. This allows you to run live video feeds such as 1080p from a camera up to 250 plus feet. The network connector, or RJ45, is right next to that. And here's one for HDbaseT or HDBT, which lets you run Cat5, Cat6 for long distances, football field length. Okay, moving to the right, you'll find an HDMI input and a display port. And below that, one of the three audio inputs. Moving further to the left in the green, we have the old-fashioned low-resolution sources, S-video, video, and a pair of audio inputs. Next over, an audio out to feed an external system, a monitor out to feed a local display, RS-232 for traditional serial command and control, and an extender if you need to hardwire your remote control because it's out of range. That leaves the blue section, and in the blue section we've got a standard analog computer input, the usual DB15, two more audio inputs, and a component video set of 5 BNCs. The computer can also handle a component video signal. That's pretty much a wrap except for the power receptacle, and that concludes our tour of the Epson PowerLite Pro 6900WU. Oh, except that I forgot to mention the rear infrared sensor, which you'll notice is on the top as well for better coverage. Welcome back. I just wanted to say it's hard to find fault with the physical capabilities of this projector. If I had but one criticism about the hardware, it would be that a second or even a third HDMI input would have been a real plus. Of course, there are plenty of other high-res inputs, including DisplayPort. To repeat, a projector like the G6900 will end up used in a wide variety of traditional and special applications. Museum displays will be one special application, sports bars and concert venues are others. Houses of worship are such a huge market for projectors, I won't say that it's special application, but look for the G6900 and the lower resolution WXGA versions to do very well in that market. The museum and signage applications are natural fits thanks to edge blending, so you can create extremely wide images. While all G series have edge blending, the G6900 and the 6800 are more advanced with the ability to do edge blending on both curved surfaces and around corners, which opens up a whole world of possibilities. For your consideration, we posted a number of images and also video clips showing what the PowerLite Pro G6900 is capable of. Keep in mind that these photos are all lower res than the G6900's native resolution, which means the photos will look much sharper in real life on the projector. For your consideration, here's some video footage to give you an idea of how much ambient light this G6900 can handle. We don't have a screen larger than 100 inches outside of our theaters, so this screen with a 1.1 gain is 100-inch diagonal. You'll be able to see sunlight right outside the doors in some of these photos. With one of the videos, we start small, and that even with the bright room, we've zoomed up to overshoot the screen so that the whole image is over 150 inches diagonal. Note that the image is still bright on the screen. 25-foot diagonal images should be no challenge at all with any modest lighting control. The rapid sequence of photos shows the relative color differences of the different modes of the G6900. Starting with theater, that's followed by sRGB, then sports, presentation, and dynamic modes. As mentioned earlier, all look very reasonable, with the only dynamic being off enough to be less than desirable for some types of presentations. Let's touch on some of the advanced features mentioned earlier, starting with networking. As I talk, you'll see some of the key networking screens or menus go by. For those of you who deal with networking, just pause the video for a closer look at the setup and options. Not only will the G6900 and its siblings do local area networking, but the projectors can present over IP without a computer. As you expect, the projector can be controlled and scheduled from the network. It notifies the network administrators when it needs something like a new lamp or has other issues. And of course, a networking administrator can push notifications out through one or many of these projectors on their network. For example, a network admin could remotely power up the projectors and push a warning that business is closing early due to winter storms. There's peer-to-peer networking abilities as well, and Wi-Fi as well as wired. In a training or classroom type of environment, the projector can communicate directly with up to 32 computers and project again up to 4 at one time, each in its own quadrant. Don't forget, the projector also offers a split screen capability using 2 different sources. You can choose a side-by-side images of the same size or have one about twice as large as the other. Lamp life isn't as impressive as on some portable projectors, but still not too bad. In fact, in eco mode, this projector is rated 4,000 hours. At full power, however, it's a more traditional 2,000 hours. It's a good thing Epson doesn't charge an arm and a leg for their lamps. With this type of projector, maximum brightness is a key feature, so there's less tendency to sacrifice some of the brightness just for extending lamp life. Of course, that's other than eco mode. Whether the projector will be permanently installed or used for rental and staging, the inclusion of HDbaseT and HD-SDI can be a huge benefit. Running 150 feet of HDMI cabling is generally complicated. Running Cat 6 instead using HDbaseT not only works out past 300 feet, but it's lightweight and easy to run. Another real advantage of HDbaseT is that it carries your video and audio and also command and control functions. That means one can control the G6900 easily, even if out of reach physically or beyond the range of the remote. Speaking of the remote control, the G6900s can be hardwired if needed. No projector is perfect, even if it's one we see as a great performer and a real value like this Epson. So that brings up the question of what are the limitations of the G6900? Well, there are a couple that come to mind. One thing that will keep it from being used in some commercial applications, such as sports books in Vegas, is that it is a single lamp projector. If you really need 24/7 operation or even less hours but 100% uptime, that normally calls for a dual lamp or even a quad lamp design. Well, if you should need that, you should also know that Epson has the Z series, which are dual lamp. But back to the G6900, it's reasonably quiet for a 6,000 lumen projector at 39 decibels at full power and a very reasonably quiet 31 decibels, which is comparable to many home theater projectors when running in eco mode. Contrast of 5,000 to 1 is okay, but it's nothing to write home about. If there's a gripe, it's the black levels. The projector is designed for areas that are not fully darkened, so it can be argued that impressive black levels really are optional. Let's say it's not the ideal projector for movie viewing in a home theater, but it will be more than adequate for most video presentations, such as showing travel videos as might be used in a church or other house of worship. Still, photos will look good too. The Epson's blacks are about what you would expect from an LCD projector with a dynamic iris that is optimized for brightness rather than for black levels. Folks, it's the physics of lens design and light path that creates the trade-offs. Now, if you need a projector with most of the features and resolution and brightness of the G6900, but demand movie quality black level performance, there are alternatives. The only problem is they tend to be 3-chip DLP projectors that sell for between several and many times the price of this G. Ouch. Everything else we were able to test performed at least admirably. Note that we do not test networking features, but then commercial projectors have been offering advanced networking capabilities for a decade now, so we don't expect any issues. The bottom line, while the average user does not need a projector this bright or this feature-laden, the applications for projectors like the G6900WU are many. With its 6,000 claimed lumens, and measured within 10% of that I should note, it has the power to handle large venues, and the extensive lens options and lens shift allow it to be placed in almost any situation. Edge blending offers those additional uses for digital signage and museum lobby type of artistic displays. And then add to that, the projector can be positioned vertically, horizontally, or pretty much anywhere in between. Color is extremely good in the G6900, and its siblings are smaller and lighter than most of the competition. Many applications for a projector like this one will not demand WUXGA or 1080p resolution, so again, Epson offers XGA and WXGA versions for less money. The Epson G6900W offers a very good value proposition, advanced features, and a long warranty with rapid replacement. The G6900W is an impressive, powerful projector that projects a high-quality, sharp image. All of that easily convinced me that it deserved one of our Hot Product Awards. Folks, that's a wrap. I am Art Fireman, and this is Projector Reviews TV. Thanks for your interest.